and today we shall discuss creating a post. How do we create post in our application, that is the web blog? This seems to be very dark. Let me change it. Okay, so please, this is the topic we're going to discuss. How do we create a post? The first thing is we need when we create the post, we need to carry out validation or validations rather. And then we need to specify requirements. That is, which field is required and which is not required. And then we carry out the backend validation as well, if you're able to do that at the same time. So please, let's start. The very first thing you need, if you want to create a post, is that you need a view, right? You need to create a view called post inside your folder called pages. So I think yesterday we were able to create this. This is our view, right? And we have a folder called pages, right? And then we have something called post here. Is this visible? Huh? Not really. Of course, I can see. Let me open in VS Code. It's like VS Code. It's more. It's more presentable than this. What is the app we're working on? I think it is web blog. Okay, so let me quickly open it here. Web blog. Okay, so please, this is what I've opened over there. Let's understand what we are going to do. For me to start, let us run it here first. This is the app. You know, we were able to create this UI in our previous videos. If you click on create post, it comes over here, right? This is what we're going to use for posting. Even though the color is somehow, but then that's not the case. So please, let's go to the VS Code. Let me explain some things here from this line. This is what we use to create the UI, this UI. Are we understanding? I don't know. Shall we create it from afresh? Create. I know we know how to create pages. Is it views? So the first thing we did was to create a div, and within the div, we created input. We created input with its level. But before all that, we created form. When we create form, we have given it a function. Please, has anyone checked on the charger? Has anyone checked on the question I asked you to check the differences between post and get? Post method and get method. We'll discuss that later. But here we're posting. The reason why we said post is that we wanted to push to send the content of what we are sending from within the body tag. Okay, so please understand this action. You know, yesterday I was trying to explain this in the theory class. This action, this is what is obtainable. this action is what defines the function to be performed when this form is sent. And the function is that it will go to a controller called what? Block, and there is going to be a function, public function called what? Create. So this is where you define, this button doesn't carry anything, it's just a submit button. So based on what you have written at the function, the button performs that job when you press it. I don't know if it is understood. If you are from JSF background, that is Java Server Face Page, Java Server Faces, it is a different something. You put in your functions at or within the button. But this one, you put your functions within what? The action. Are we there? Oh, you're not responding. You're not responding at all. So the question is this. I would like a situation whereby somebody click on this create, and what happened? When you click on create, anything that has been written is sent it to the database. This is what we are going to do. When I click on create, it sends it to the what? Database. Okay? So there are some things here. Maybe we'll have to perform some kind of. Let me comment this so we can do some kind of. Okay, so this is comment in HTML comment, right? Instead of / that you write in either controller or something, Java or all that. So now, if I click on this, you see it tells me what? File not found. But then please read through here. Create not what? Not found. And what is create? Create is a function under a controller called what? Block. Is it? So now let me explain to you. Of course, it will not work because I've removed all the functionalities. I want us to start writing afresh so you understand how you write yours. Okay? If you want to do this kind of operation, you need 3 different things. One, all right, you need 4. You need 4 things. You need how many? At least 4 different requirements. The requirement you need for sending post, right? Or for posting. Thank you. Requirement. Number 1 out of the requirement is what? You need a view. Of course, you need to create view where you are posting, right? Which is what? And this is what? This is the view. Is it? 2. You need a controller. You have to create a controller, and inside the controller you created, you need a function. This function performs the job you're going to carry out. I don't know if you're understanding what I'm doing. So now, this controller, we are going to call it block, and inside block, we're going to call a function called what? Create. Thank you. Then the next requirement is that you need a model, because we're going to interact with database, so we need a model, right? So now this model, we're going to call it block model. It has to be capital, initial, as with regards to the convention. Block model. Please, are we understanding this? Yes. The next we need is that we need a route. We need a route. So the route will carry what we have written in our action, in the action form. So in the form, in the action within the form. This is what? This is the action, right? In the form, is it? Yes. So we need the route to this. What does route do? Route directs you to your controller, where controller triggers something to be done. Are we there? So now we need this action within our route. So we need this string, we need this block, and then we need the create. We have to initialize this in our route. So let me pick up this, and then I'll write it here. But without, you see, it is just like this: block, comma, create. Okay. So if you like, you put it in a code this way. Please, are we getting it? Which one? This? This block? It's for the controller. Anything you write over there, it's the definition that we said, it's by convention you write. But if you write block this way, it will work. You can put in capital. Yes, it is a string. So please, do we understand this? Can we carry on? So this is what creates this view. So we are done with our view, right? What's the next? We need to create a controller. Okay, and we need to create a model. So let's go to model, because the content of model is not all that it's not much. So let me go to model. Where is it? This view. This is models, right? Then in the model, I'll come to block model. I've already done it, but I'll erase it so you don't. Let me even remove this. Please, do we know how to write model from here to here? To this definition, declaration of the model? Yes. Yes. Okay, no. Alright, so let's do it. Let's start it over. Let me erase everything. Alright, let's start writing. The name of this blog is what? Blog. The name of the model is blog model, right? Yes. So what you do first, the first thing you do is you come up with your PHP tag that enables you to write the model within PHP, within CodeIgniter, within CodeIgniter environment. Then you now say use app. Why did I say app? This is the reason why I said app. This folder, please, can you see it? Then backslash. I want to go to models. So from this now, I will now say what? Models with capital. Okay, sorry, the first thing is namespace. Before name, before use. Namespace, app, backslash, model. Okay? This is the first thing you write. And then this is the only one that carries plural. If you can recall, I said it yesterday. Yeah. Then I'll now say use, thank you, CodeIgniter model. CodeIgniter, then backslash, is it? Model without is. Okay? So the next thing is what? The next I'm going to do is to initialize or to declare the class, which is what? Class block model. It has to be, the name of the class must be same with the file name of the model. Block model extends model, and this model it has to be plural as well. So this is how you write model. It has to be singular. Sorry, this is the only one with plural something. So this is the one you see the one I've cut before I start writing. I cut this. So we test whether we are right or not. Okay? So this is what we have there. We now namespace, it can be there or down there, and then this So you okay now, right? All right, yeah, not statement terminator, right? Thank you. So here, this is now what we have. So let's start writing model with regards to this UI, please. We want to write our model with regards to UI. We are done with connectivity of database. That's why I did not even talk about it. You have to carry out your database connectivity to make sure that you have passed across everything. I mean, all the required, the needed materials, the needed requirements. For you to do that, you can check on here. This is what we're working on, the block DB, and this is our requirements. Okay. So now let's come back to the model. And then we need a function. The function, we said we are going to create a function inside the model. But then for now, I'm not going, since I'm not collecting anything from database, I'm going to just specify the table I'm going to use inside the model. Then I will leave it that way. So how do I do that? I have to come up with something this protected, right? It's a specifier, protected. Then I will specify table here. Then I will specify the table name I want to use. Okay. So what is the table name? We're going to use block model DB. Let me see if this is already there. So this is what we're going to use, block model. Can you see our tables here, please? Huh?
Yes.
So if I'm going to use post as a table here, this is what I'm expected of. I'm going to clear this so we have a fresh something. So I will pick up this table, please, and paste it here, so I don't write with mistakes. Okay. And sorry, here where we have written requirements, I forgot to introduce something. We need a DB and a what? A table name, right? Is it? We need a DB name and a table name. Please, are we understanding? Okay. So now I've done that. Then I told you something regarding Code Igniter 4, that you have to specify something called allowed fields. If you go through the material, the manual, this is how they name it, allowed fields. Okay. So you need to specify this, please. You have to specify it for it to allow you to make entries. So now let's go back to the code, and then we write protected again, protected, then allowed what? Fields. Okay. Then it's going to be a kind of an array. So here you specify those things you have to user must pass. Fields, right? It's not no, it's $. Thank you. Are we there? Okay, you're looking from something. Okay, it's all right. So please, let's start adding fields. We have to add how many fields? 3 fields. Why? Please, let's understand it. The reason why we have to add 3 fields is that, look at our table here. ID, we're going to generate it automatically. Title, we need body, and we need what? Slack. So, but then, please, you're going to write the names of these inputs from your model. I mean, from your view. What I mean is this. In here, we created it here, right? So let's go to the file that created we used to create, which is a post. So come over here. This what for title, right? This is an input. What is the name of this input? Title. So that was what you're going to write there. What's the name for this input? The name body, right? and then the name for okay, for Slack, we did not write Slack here, right? We didn't write Slack here. So that's what you're going to write in relation to your table. These allowed fields: title, body, and what? Slack. I'm sorry, it's not the name of the table, it's the name of column. Title, body, and what? Slack. The way they have been written here, that's how we pick them here. Come over to here. So I'll write title. Is it correct? Body and Slack. So this is all you need at your model. Then let's move to where? Controller. That's where you do the main work. But here just enables you to do connectivity and that. Let us be going together with what we have here, so we don't miss out anything. So create a function called what? Create in the block controller. So let's move to block controller. When you create it, you are supposed to instantiate your model inside the block controller by what? Above the block controller class declaration. That is above the block controller. You instantiate it, and if you do not understand, this is what we mean. If you go to block controller, you have to see this app controllers, right? This is how block controller is written, because after app then you move to controller. As we said, the namespace, there are libraries in there, so it will enable you to use the libraries. Now you instantiate the block by writing this use app models block, because block is not inside controller. Model is not inside block. I mean, it's not inside controller. Model is standing on its own as a folder, and controller is standing on its own as a folder. But then you want to use the services of the block model inside controller. So you have to say use app \models. Then you trace the model, just like the path to the model. So let's now move to, that's the first thing you do. Let's move to controller. Where is it? Controller here. So I have one controller here called block. So I now say instantiate the model block you have just created. Our block model is created with this name, and then it is under model. So when you say use, so you are instantiating it, that you want to use it inside this controller. This must be done, otherwise you have issues. So this is the routing of the block. If you move to post, after when you now move to post here, so it will move and pick post for you. This, I think we have done it before this video. So now let's write what we are expected now for this video. This is what we said, that you create a function called what? Create inside it. So when you create the function, then you instantiate, you give you introduce your validation libraries, and you also introduce kind of yes, the validation library. So from there you begin writing your function within the function. So now I will create a function here. All right, this is the function. The function name is what? Create, and inside it I need nothing here, and inside the create I will quickly introduce a helper class, helper method. Within it I will specify that I need these libraries for form validations. This is what we are seeing. I think I have one recipe here also for you. Yes, look at it. Helper. Okay, this what you do within it. Okay, this redirection, within it you create this. So after it you do instance, you load the model. The first time you are trying to use the model, then you say use. If you are from Java class, I mean Java background, it's like we are importing. All right, you wanted to use it, you are importing, or we can say you are not really extending, but it's like you are importing it into your work. But here you are loading it, you are creating the instance of it. We know how to do this, okay? So you load the model you want to use, that is, create the instance of the what model. So let's go and load it here. That is after instantiate, after calling the helper for the form. Invoke the form validation library. I don't know if you are getting it, please. So the next thing here is what? To load the instance of the model. So let me do something like this. Load the instance of the model. For the first time you see as if it is something, but once you do it once, twice, so some number of practicing, you are able to lay your hands on it, it will become familiar. So here we now say you introduce a variable here called model, and then you now say new block model. This is the model. So what is this, please? In Java, this is instantiation, right? You created the object here, right? So that's it. That's what we are doing here. So with this now, this is what you are going to use for your work. Please, are we understanding? So now this recipe is very good. Now after doing this, what do we need? We need to save we need to do the insertion process, right? Is it not? Because we have done model, we are done with the UI, we are done with the model. Although I haven't talked about the routing. Let's check on the routing. It's like I have done that, but then let me see route. Yes, show me pages. Okay, it is under pages, right? Okay, it is under pages, so this will take care of it, because inside this controller pages, where is controller pages? Inside it we have this show me. It takes care of all pages, anything pages from UI, so we don't have problem. It has been taken care of. Okay, so now let's now go back to the block, and then we begin to write something here. Now look at this. We have a command. If you want to save data, you now introduce one command, save, like this. But then let me write it there so you understand. I know as it is here, you'll be having issues with it. Let me just write it over there. Now I think the model, sorry, yes, it's true, it's correct. That's what I wanted to do. So if you point to this command, save, is the method. Please understand something. Where have we defined our tables? Inside block model, right? If you come over here, the table has been defined here, and we allowed these fields here, right? So now I called this, I made it an object there. So that means I can utilize the services, all the properties. Is it not? So once it is here, when I call this block, you see I called it the object here. So I called the object of the block here. So I can now now point to the saving the save what do you call save method. But inside it, what I'm going to pass is an array. Please understand it. That's why I wrote this. I think I've done it bit by bit here. Okay, it is the other one I did bit by bit, but for this one, that's how we're going to do. So we'll call the process, we call the title, all the columns, and then we pass something. So this is where the request lies. Our post request right here. When we say request, get variable. So from here to here, you are getting the variable entered by user from here. Anything entered by user from here, this is the point at which you are getting it. And then you are passing it to the DB instance, and then you are storing inside a column called title. Okay, so let's write it there. So please understand this, because I'll open it. That's why I'm laying emphasis on. You know, if you don't know how it is being done, because we write like 4 lines here, and you begin to think, why is it closing? It's the closing statement of this line, and then this is part of the array. Opening array, what do you call it? Square bracket, right? And closing square bracket, then closing braces here. So title is a column, and I'm passing the variable, anything entered by user from here to here, from the UI, I'm passing it through the DB instance into what? The table, into the column, sorry, because we have already mentioned the table here. Let me rewrite for the next one. It will point to the DB instance, this, and then this request command will pull it out from user when you say get var. So this is referring to the name of the component on the UI. Okay, and then you pass the name from the UI here. This is the name from the table, please, from columns of table here, any name here, that's why you are going to state it here, and then the name from the UI, that's why you state it here, and then they tend to be same. So since they are same, you can go by writing body, right, and then body. Now the last one, which is what? Question? Is it a question? Okay. This is simple. Just understand it and go through, then read your material. Get what? Get variable. You have to go by what the code igniter file states if you are loading data from here. So now this is for Slack. I will explain before I write, because I'm going to change something there. That's why I stop Slack. Then, do you understand what is Slack? Then please read this. All right. Not the Slack column. Here we wanted to the title to be converted to the what? URL friendly format. That's the meaning. Slack and title are like same. They are same. Only that, you know, if you write your title, you're writing it the way you want. There are spaces and all that. But then for Slack, we wanted to format your title at Slack. All lower cases. That's what Slack does. So when we insert, we will have to checkmate. We have to check to confirm that it has been. And then all spaces replaced by what? Hyphens. That's what Slack will do for us, because there is a method called URL title. So that is what we pass to Slack. Okay. This can be done with what? Code igniter for method called what? URL title. URL dash title. URL underscore title. So that's what I'm going to do there. And please, let's do it together. So if I write title here, it is the same thing with title, is it? Then, if I should copy from here to here, if I should copy it, sorry, this should be comma, not because we are listing an array. It's a comma. It's a comma. So if I copy from here to here, Please, what have I copied? Is it not title? It is title, right? Then I now say URL title. This is a method by CodeIgniter, so you pass it in. Since I'm not terminating, I've terminated here, you can put in comma there. So this is what we have. Now we can save our data. So I can write here, I can write saving data into the what? DB table, right? So we can save. We can now run our application and save. Where? Thank you, comma. So before I write, let me erase what I have in the DB so we understand whether we are really, saving something or not, right? So you can now use this word, this command, and call your table. Truncate what? Truncate post. Now we are done. Let me refresh, and then if I click on you see it has done something. We didn't ask it to bring any information to us. So it has done something, of course. Since there is no error message. Now let's check our database. You may see one row because no any sort of validations was done. Can you see one row?
Yes.
We didn't do any validation. Okay? Are we there? And we need to do it. We need to do it. In fact, we didn't mention whether something is required or not, all that. So now let's pass in something reasonable. Let's pass in something reasonable. Let me start. Localhost. Okay. Code to okay. There's one method I remove that which says to be what? Get post, and I use it within when we were working. But then just navigate to post. If we navigate in here, we don't have any issue here. I removed something. When you say we should rewrite model, I've written something for get post, that is for selecting the tuples inside post. But then since we're here, so let's understand something here. If I write something as a title here, let's say CIFO presentations on Wednesdays. Okay, so here, for example, this is to inform. I'm just writing, it's just a dummy something. All students that CIFO presentation will take place on Wednesday, for example, so we don't waste much time. All right, so when I click on what, and it has gone. So let's check our DB. Can you see what we have? Is it there?
Yes.
Number 2. So you see what Slack does here. It has introduced what? Hyping into the instead of spaces and all that. So